There are people following you right now, people who love your content, who will watch everything you post, who would pay you money today, and you're not even telling them what you sell. You're not emailing them, you're not inviting them in because you're afraid of being annoying. And I need you to hear something. That silence is not humility. It's actually a disservice to you and to them because your audience isn't sitting there thinking, man, I really hope she doesn't try and sell me something. They're thinking, I wonder if she has anything else I can learn from. And every day you don't tell them, they either forget about you or they find someone who is willing to make the ask. This episode is about the 4 foundational things that every successful creator gets right and most struggling creators skip. Whether you're building a fitness membership, a course, a coaching community, whatever it is, if you get these 4 things right, almost everything else can fall into place. If you skip them, almost nothing will work no matter how hard you try. I've spent the last 2+ years working directly with membership creators, one-on-one on video calls inside their businesses, looking at their data, their sites, their funnels, their pricing. My team and I have done close to 1,000 of these conversations at this point. A Pilates instructor in the UK, a music teacher in Texas, a homeschool curriculum designer, a pole fitness instructor in Australia, all completely different niches with completely different audiences. And every single one is stuck on the same things. One creator sold 115 bundles in 72 hours after we rebuilt her strategy around what her audience told her they actually wanted. Another went from a stalled membership to her best revenue month ever after we rewired her messaging. Another had 28,000 email addresses just sitting dormant. So we built a campaign system and the list started to convert almost immediately. And here's the thing that might surprise you. The order matters. Most creators start with the wrong foundation and they just waste months. I'm going to give you the right order today, starting with the one that scares people the most. I'm going to start here because this is the thing nobody wants to talk about. And I want to acknowledge that up front because every creator I talk to, every single one would rather make content than market it. The resistance to promoting yourself is one of the most consistent patterns I see. It shows up on nearly every call, and it doesn't matter the niche, it doesn't matter the audience size, it doesn't matter the experience level. I've watched creators with incredible products refuse to send a second email about a launch because they're worried about being annoying or uncomfortable. I've had people tell me they get physically uncomfortable at the thought of asking their audience for money. And I want to be clear about something. That instinct is not irrational. You've seen people do this badly. You've been on the receiving end of a pushy, tone-deaf, aggressive marketing campaign that made you uncomfortable and you're afraid of being that person. That's a valid experience and a valid reaction to a real experience. I'm not going to tell you that fear is unfounded. But here's what I found after hundreds, almost thousands of these conversations. The discomfort that you feel about selling is not your audience talking. It's you projecting your own fear onto them. Your audience isn't sitting there thinking, I really hope they don't try to sell something to me. They're thinking, I wonder if they have anything else I can learn from. And every day you don't tell them about what you've built, they're either going to forget about you or they're going to find someone who is willing to make that ask. Think about a creator whose content you love. Someone who has free stuff that has genuinely helped you. If they had a paid offering that went deeper, something that would actually transform your practice, your fitness, your skill, your entertainment, and you didn't know about it because they never told you, how's that going to make you feel? Frustrated, maybe? You'd think, why would they not tell me about this sooner? I would have bought this months ago. That's what's happening with your audience right now. There are people following you who want to go deeper. They're waiting for you to invite them in. And every day that you're silent, you're doing them a disservice. And if you're feeling resistance to what I'm saying right now, if something in you is pushing back, I want you to hear this. A writer that I admire once said that resistance is the shadow of the dream. The bigger the calling, the bigger the shadow it casts. If the resistance you feel about selling feels overwhelming and massive, it's not because you shouldn't do it. It's because it matters. Here's how to tell the difference between a real concern and a fear. Your thinking mind, the rational part, it speaks in questions. Should I do this? Is this the right approach? What if this doesn't hit the mark? Those are questions. That's normal. That is healthy. Fear speaks in absolutes. Nobody will buy this. Your audience will unsubscribe. You're going to look desperate. You're not good enough to charge for this. If you hear in absolutes in your head, that's not logic. That is not your experience talking. That is fear. Trying to protect you from something that isn't actually dangerous. Fear doesn't know the difference between a tiger and a sales email, but your job is to know the difference. So let me ask you, and be honest with yourself. Is there something you've built, something you believe in that your audience doesn't fully know about because you've been afraid to talk about it? If the answer is yes, that's not a character flaw. It's just the thing you fix next. Now, let me show you the single biggest place that this fear of selling will cost creators money. And it's not social media. It's actually not their website. It's the email list. Roughly 70% of the creators I work with are completely neglecting email. Let me give you 3 examples. A creator with 28,000 email addresses, 28,000. She was emailing them once a month, maybe. Generic newsletters, no strategy, no sequences. And when we finally activated that list, built a real campaign system that wrote emails that actually spoke to what her audience had already told her they wanted, she got 800 responses in a single day. The audience was there the whole time. She just hadn't talked to them. Another creator had 6,000 people through her welcome email flow, and the open rate was 60%, which is fantastic. It's exactly where you want it to be. The click rate, out of every 1,000 people who opened her email, 3 would click. 3. That's not an audience problem. That is a writing problem. It's a formatting problem. Another had 3,300 abandoned carts. People who literally started the checkout process and just didn't finish. And the follow-up was just 1 generic template email. 1. These are people who already raised their hand and said, I'm interested. They put it in their cart and then they got silence. Here's the principle. Email outperforms almost every other channel for membership conversion. It's not close. Social is where you discover people. Email is where they decide to pay you. And if you're not emailing your list consistently, intentionally, with real value, you're sitting on dormant revenue. But here's the catch. None of that works if you don't know what to say. And you can't know what to say if you don't know who you're talking to, which brings us to foundation number 2. Most creators think they know their audience. They can describe them in broad terms. Women 30 to 55 who want to stay fit. I would say that's not audience understanding. That is a guess dressed up as a strategy. And here's the thing most people don't think about. Knowing who follows you is fundamentally different from knowing what someone will pay for. Those are 2 completely different questions. A fitness creator with 50,000 followers can launch a membership and get 30 signups, whereas a music teacher with 5,000 followers can launch and get 200 signups. The difference isn't audience size, although that is a difference. The difference is audience understanding. Now, picture this. You sit down to write an email. Instead of staring at a blank screen wondering what to say, you already know exactly what language to use because your audience has told you their words. You're not guessing at pricing because you've got data. You're not wondering whether to do live classes or on demand because you asked and they already answered you. Every decision, content, pricing, messaging, informed by real data from real people who want what you're building. That is what actual audience understanding gives you. And it starts with something incredibly simple most creators never do. When's the last time you asked your audience what they actually want and didn't make an assumption or didn't make an intuition decision based on your comments, but actually ask them? Well, here's how you get to it. First, you ask them directly. Let me tell you what happened when one creator actually did this. She teaches Pilates specifically for runners. Niche audience, great content. She'd done a survey before, but hadn't really used the data to drive decisions. So we dug into those survey results together. Injury prevention was the number 1 concern. Recovery between runs, mobility, limited time for extra training. Those were the top pain points. And here's the one that changed everything. Over 70% of her audience said that they'd be more likely to join if there was a lower cost introductory offer. And she didn't have one, so we went and built it. A bundle that was priced at about 25 pounds at the time, designed around exactly what her audience told us that they wanted. Then we wrote an email sequence using the language from those survey responses to sell it. She had previously sold about 10 of those bundles on her own. After we built the strategy around the data, 115 of those sold in just 3 days off her existing email list. Same audience, same content, same creator. The only thing that changed was listening. Now, you got to listen to the language your audience uses. Pay attention to the exact words people use to describe their problems, not the words that you give for their problems, but their words, and reflecting that language back in your marketing. I worked with a creator whose audience was busy professional women dealing with decision fatigue. Her emails would open with a clever hook, pop culture references, fine writing, but it didn't resonate. When we rewrote the emails using the actual language from her survey, things like, you've been thinking about spreadsheets for 9 hours and somehow you're supposed to find time to work out. Engagement went because the audience felt seen, not marketed to, they felt seen. And then third, you've got to segment beginners, advanced, accountability seekers, and independents, people willing to pay $10, people willing to pay $50. Understanding these segments changes how you build, how you price, and how you communicate. You stop trying to be everything to everyone and start being exactly the right thing for someone. So I'm going to be straight with you about something. I've recommended audience surveys on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls, and the follow-through rate, well under 50%. But the creators who actually do it, the ones who send the survey, read the results, and build around what they learn, they make better decisions, they launch faster, and they retain longer every single time. If you do one thing after watching this episode, just one thing, send a survey this week. 5 questions, five questions, your highest engagement platform. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. And it could change everything that comes after. You can even just do it in your Instagram stories with the sticker buttons. Just run polls. People love engaging with you there. Use a free Google form and send it out and incentivize people to join by having a deadline and doing a giveaway for a gift card or a free membership, whatever it is. But once you have those survey responses, here's where it gets powerful. You can take all that language, the exact words your audience uses to describe their problems, their goals, their frustrations, and feed it into Claude or ChatGPT. Use it to write emails, captions, landing page copy that sounds like you on your best day using their words. For creators who are incredible on camera but struggle with the written word, this can help bridge that gap, not by replacing your voice, but by translating it. So I could talk about so much more here, but you know your audience, you know their language, you know what they want and what they'd pay for. But the next question is, can you articulate what you offer in one sentence that makes someone think, this is for me, within 5 seconds? Because that sentence is the most leveraged piece of language in your entire business. Most creators believe that if their content is good enough, people will find them and sign up, so they pour everything into production quality, into building a content library, making the membership as packed as possible, and then they put it behind a paywall and wait. And wait. Nobody comes. Not because the content's not good, but because they never have told anyone why it matters. I've reviewed hundreds of membership sites, and roughly 85% of them lead with features. 300 videos, live classes, community access. That's a feature list. It's not a reason to buy. Nobody wakes up thinking, I need access to 300 videos. They wake up thinking, back is killing me and I can't keep up with all my kids. Picture this. Someone lands on your website for the first time and within 5 seconds they read one sentence and think, how'd they know what I was thinking? They don't need to scroll. They don't need to read your bio. They don't need to watch a video, one sentence, and they immediately click start free trial because they already believe it's worth trying. That's what a value proposition can do. Does your site do that right now? Because if you landed on your homepage for the first time as a total stranger, would they know within 5 seconds who it's for, what result they're going to get, and why you're the one to deliver it? Because if the answer is probably not, you've got a high leverage fix. So here's the formula in one sentence. My membership helps specific person achieve specific result by your unique method. So let me say that again. My membership helps a specific type of person achieve a specific result by your unique method. So let me show you the difference that makes. Here's a bad example. My membership offers fitness classes for everyone. Who's this for? What result will I get? No clue. Can't self-select in or out because you haven't told me anything in that sentence. Here's a better one. I help busy parents find 30 minutes to feel stronger with short, equipment-free workouts they can do at home before the kids wake up, while they're asleep during nap time, or maybe after they go to bed at night. Now I know who, I know what, I know how. If I'm a busy parent, I have 4 kids. I just thought, that's me. If I'm not, I moved on, and that's fine. You don't want everyone. You want the right people. Here's another one, a bad example. A virtual music studio with hundreds of lessons. But here's a better version. I help adult beginners play their first song in 30 days or less with step-by-step lessons that don't assume you know how to read sheet music. Do you hear the difference? Features tell, value propositions qualify. The people who self-select in are the ones who convert, and they stay because they knew what they were signing up for. Here's what most people don't realize about this formula. It's not just for your homepage. Once you nail this sentence, it can inform every email you write, every social post, every ad, every conversation about what you do. Because without it, you're making messaging decisions from scratch almost every time. But with it, you've got a North Star. Most creators go through at least 3 or 4 rounds before the sentence, this value proposition, starts to click. And that's normal. The first draft is going to be too broad. The second might be too clever. The third might start to feel real. And by the 4th or 5th, you can say it out loud and it'll feel like the truth. When you hit that, when you say it and think, yeah, that's what I do, then you've got it. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. I worked with a creator whose homepage was like, welcome to brand name, and then a start a free trial button. That was it. No explanation of who it's for, no description of the result, no reason to trust this over the other 10 options a Google search would surface. So we rewrote it around a clear value prop. Specific person, specific result, specific method. Trials went up. Not because the content changed, but because people finally understood what they were signing up for. 85% of the sites I review have this problem. Great content, messaging doesn't tell anyone why. So try this right now. Pause this if you need to, but fill in the blanks. My membership helps blank who achieve blank what by blank how. So write it down, say it out loud. If it sounds like a tagline, it's too vague. If it sounds like something you'd actually say to a friend who asked you what to do, you're getting closer. And if you can't fill it in yet, that's not a problem. That's information. It means the thing you need to work on next is this. So, you know your audience. You can articulate the value in one sentence, and you're not afraid to tell people about what you sell. The last piece is one that paralyzes more creators than anything else. And honestly, it's probably the one that should scare you the least. It's this false belief of, I need to figure out the perfect price before I launch. This will keep people stuck for months. I've seen it happen so many times. Some creators agonize endlessly trying to land on the right number. Others just look at their biggest competitor, set the price lower, and never think about it again. Both approaches have some problems because they're based on feelings and not data. Here's what I've learned across hundreds of conversations. There is no perfect price. There's only the price you're willing to test, learn from, and adjust. The creators who grow are the ones who treat pricing like an ongoing experiment. The ones who stall are the ones who set it once. Let fear keep them from ever revisiting it. So first, use your audience data. If you did the survey from work from the first foundation or the second foundation, you already have signal on what people are willing to pay. So that's a good starting point. Not your competitor's price, not your gut, your audience's actual willingness to pay. Your second is to start simple. 1 tier, maybe 2, if you have a very clear reason to differentiate. Monthly and annual billing, and that's it. I see creators spend months designing elaborate 3-tier structures with add-ons and bundles before they have had a single customer. Don't do that. Just launch simple. Add complexity later once you have real usage data telling you what people actually want. Third, know the free to paid boundary. This is the one that trips people up the most. Your free content on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. That's your marketing engine. It builds trust. It demonstrates expertise. Your membership is your product. It delivers the transformation. The mistake I see over and over is creators give away the transformation for free and then wonder why nobody pays for the membership. Your free content should make people hungry, but your membership is the thing that should feed them. And for those of you who already have a membership and haven't touched your price since launch, Probably half of the creators I work with are underpriced. They'll set a number based on anxiety, not data, and never tested whether the market would take more, accept more. So here's an experiment you can run. Raise the price for new signups only. Existing members can keep their current rate. Run it for 30 days. Look at the data. If your conversion rate doesn't meaningfully drop, or if you keep, let's say you keep the same number of trials coming in and the conversion rate on those is the same. Sounds like you were leaving money on the table. If those numbers do drop, you can always lower it back. It's not a permanent commitment. It's an experiment. So picture this. Instead of agonizing whether your price is right, you set a starting point based on what your audience told you they'd pay. You launch, you watch the data, and then you make an informed decision based on evidence, not anxiety. That's how most successful creators approach pricing. It's not a permanent decision. It's a hypothesis you test. Okay. 4 foundations. You now have the blueprint, but I don't want you to try and fix all 4 at once. That's how you burn out and change nothing. So here's the sequence that works. Step 1, audience. Send the survey, read the responses, understand who they are and what they actually want, not what you assume they want, what they told you they want. Step 2, value proposition. Use their language, fill in the formula, workshop it until it sounds like the truth, or until you say it to your audience and they go, ooh, that's good. Step 3, pricing. Does it match what your audience said they would pay? Is it based on data or anxiety? Run the experiment. And step 4, campaigns. Email your list, talk about your offer, sell without apology, because now you have something worth selling, positioned in a way your audience already told you they want at a price that makes sense. That's the sequence. Audience, value prop, pricing, campaigns. Most creators start at step 4. They start marketing before they've done that foundational work and wonder why nothing converts. If you watched my episode on the 5 problems every creator has, this is the other side of that coin. That episode's the diagnostic. It'll tell you what's broken. But this episode is the blueprint. It tells you what to build and in what order. If you haven't seen that one, it's linked in the description. These 4 foundations aren't complicated. They're not sexy. Nobody's going to go viral for sending a survey or rewriting their value proposition, most likely. But the creators who build businesses that actually last, that pay their rent, that give them freedom, that let them do the work they love without wondering where the next dollar is coming from, those creators get these 4 things right. And the ones who skip them, they're the ones posting great content to an audience that doesn't engage or buy, wondering what they're doing wrong. Most people think about starting a membership business, never do it. They research, they plan, they consume content, and then they drift back to what's comfortable. 6 months later, they're in exactly the same spot, but you're not that person. You're still here. And the difference between knowing what to build and actually building it comes down to what you do next. Pick one foundation, the one that hit you the hardest. Commit to it this week. Send the survey, draft the value proposition, raise the price, send the email. One thing this week. And if you want to build this the right way, with a platform purpose built for membership creators, with coaching from people who have helped close to 1,000 creators grow, with playbooks and frameworks, and someone in your corner who actually knows your business, that's Uscreen. That's where I do this work every day, and it's where the creators I've been telling you about in this episode built the businesses I've been describing. This isn't just software, it's the platform, the strategy, and the support to actually get these foundations right. The link to start is in the description. And if you want the diagnostic, the 5 things that are probably broken right now, that episode is on screen or in the description right now. Thanks for much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.